Going on YouTube? I can't see myself just yet. Little bug with the YouTube stream feature. I'm pretty sure I'm live. Morning. All right, we are live. Can you guys see me? Okay, sweet. We're all set. All right, welcome to another Thursday morning edition of Wake and Trade Sip and Click. Thursday morning, Thirsty Thursdays, coffee with Saber pre-market. A lot has happened in the market over the last couple of weeks. And last Thursday, we didn't really stream because it was Thanksgiving and there was no market. It's a pre-market and it's kind of a pre-market stream. But today, I'm going to start with a little Bitcoin. I think it's headed for a little volatility for the next couple of weeks. Looks like RSI is in trouble on the daily. The 3-day looked like it was in trouble a few days ago too, like a couple of weeks ago. Let's dive in. Morning, Ronick. Morning, Aviation Unnamed Vehicle Museum. Morning, Derek, Aaron, you guys. Morning, everyone. All right. Jeremy, good morning to you, too. So, what I'm seeing here on Bitcoin, right, on the daily, just going to start with what I'm seeing here right now. You know, I had made a lot of divergent highs. And if you want to, like, count them, we had one right here, 2, 3. The fourth one was a failure swing, right? Where have we seen something like this where MDRP, there's a discrepancy in momentum? We saw something very similar right here, and then we had the pullback from 12K back down to 10. Now, is this going to play out? What are the odds of this playing out? For a pullback here, I think it's pretty high. Last time I saw something like this on momentum, we saw something really shocking happen in the markets. And this is a screenshot. I posted this on our Twitter yesterday. Just gonna kind of move this around so you guys can see it better. It's not a live chart, but this was the S&P before COVID crash, right? And momentum was kind of doing this a little bit of a pennant, and then it rejected, RSI rejected on that range, and we're seeing something kind of similar happen on BTC. Now, you know, is the same thing going to play out? I don't think we're going to see a COVID crash out of BTC, but I don't think we're going to clear that 20K mark and moon Lambo right away, right? I don't think that's the case. I think there's likely going to be a retracement. You know, maybe 16.5 again. If we're lucky, you get 13.5s, right? I think 13.5 is a critical level to retest before going back up or breaking higher. And once we do that, you know, then we can talk about 24 and 27. But I don't think that's where we're headed right now. It might be a few months. Another thing that makes me think that if we go to like, I guess we're hodlers back in 2017, breaking all-time high. That's the best stamp chart. Remove drawings. So breaking the all-time high in 2017 wasn't smooth at all, right? And that was like a monthly close. Our monthly close is a lot lower, so that's like 13K, 13,262. I'm just gonna move that a little bit over so everybody can see it. So, you know, last monthly close all-time high was a 13.2 or 13,626. So I'm thinking we're gonna retest the bottom of this candle on the monthly. If we go into here, back in 2017, we closed above the all-time high. Next candle retested that candle open, right? And the following one. So it took like 1, 2, 3 months to crack that high. And I do think we're going to see some volatility for a few months. And I saw somebody post a chart of this, like, oh, it's such a bullish close. And they were like, you know, so excited. And that's what made me look at the monthly and be like, hey, maybe it's not so, like, it's a bullish close, but doesn't mean you're going to get pushed through continuation. I haven't checked RSI on the monthly. Let's go to 3-day. You guys remember, I don't know if you guys are VIP, but for the last 2 weeks, I'm like, guys, this thing's 3-day RSI is it's cooked. It's like as high as it's gotten ever. And I'm not like an RSI spot trader, but it had been overbought. It had been overbought for some time. I do think, you know, we should be in correction territory. All right, hopping over to Ether. I was charting this morning, and we were above 590, which is bullish, right? And that could push us up to 748, maybe 905. I still think we're going to see some more downside volatility before we go up, just to shake out these, you know, whoever's getting cooked up here along in the range high. I think we see something like this, maybe go down to 439 for a bear trap and then go up, right? That's what I'm thinking we're going to see. And where have we seen something similar to this? You know, I was looking at this range, this last breakout range, right? Where, whoa, what just happened? This, why is, stop zooming. Okay. I was looking at this last breakout range. We saw something pretty similar happen, right? Where we broke out, came back down, then had a bull trap, and then had a bear trap, and then had the final extension. That was 2019. So do you think we're going to see something similar play out? I'm not bearish per se, but I have net short positioning just because I think we're going to be correcting. These are, I mean, you can see the daily, you can see the Runic, you're asking about the time frame of my chart. It says 1D or 3D. It says it right here. The watermark says what time frame I'm on. All right, hopping over to traditional markets real quickly. If you guys are trading traditional markets with us, big shout out. We had a great few weeks. Well, that's my face again. I was trying to pull up Discord. There we go. Quick shout out to you guys. Fire Marshal 13K up last month. Yesterday we had a really big day. You know, patience pays off. We've been buying these Spotify calls for $60 and we're selling them for $2,000. You know, like it's a 3,000% return. It's been good, guys. Apple's back up. AMD's breaking out. You know, our cannabis stocks are doing good. So shout out to you guys trading these markets with us. Traditional markets are, you know, they're bubbling again, and it's really, that's good. Let's hop into there real quick. So let's look at the S&P. And just because our equity curves are flying doesn't mean they're going to stay flying forever, right? Markets tend to correct. They do it viciously when we get to tops. Now, I did have a pre-election post, right? Pre-election, I'd made a election, what was it? Election prediction video, market prediction video before the election. I got a screenshot of that in Discord. Let me hop in and find it real quick. And I'd said that we're going to see, here we go. Well, not so. Those 285, we're going to see support, and we're going to see a breakout out to the 370 range. And that pennant's exactly playing out how I thought it would. And now I do think once we get up to 370 to 374, it's going to be time to get out and sit in cash for a bit. Not because I'm expecting, you know, the end of markets or the great crash or a big reversal, but I think we're going to see some downside volatility. I don't think we can go to 375 and get up to 393 in one leg. I think we're going to see like one of these steep corrections. So it's going to be best for me. That's what I'm kind of doing, and what I'm gearing everybody else to do is, as we get into this blow off territory, cash out, right? 370 to 376 on this last extension. I do think the middle of that range is going to be 371, 374, right? So there's going to be a lot of like secret resistance up here in the 370s. And historically, the S&P hasn't liked pushing above this trend line, right? Every time we get close to this megaphone formation, which is starting to look more like a meme, more and more like a meme, you know, every time we get up to these levels, we get a steep rejection. Now I do see the VIX starting to move up, like people getting ready to say, oh, you know, we're back at that resistance. We're gonna come back down. I think this time is different. I think we're gonna hover up to slightly above it before we come back down. The line is kind of moving, right? It's really moving. As we make these new highs, so it's a really hard trend line to track. All right, let's QQQ. I was looking at that today, and if momentum's back into the Qs, then the bubble goes on. Looking for 315 and 317 before scaling back to cash. We do have, I'm just going to clean up these fibs. I got too many, which can get really confusing. We'll leave these because now we can see the big ones and the minor ones. So if we go back to like all time and look at the QQQ, it fibs really well, and it's definitely bubbling. It's in a hyperwave, and we could be entering that last blow off phase, right? The wave 4. Yeah, and looking at these fib extensions, you know, once we close above, I think it's a 305 right here, this yellow line, we should technically blow off to 315, 321, 330, etc. But I think that 315 is going to be the next exit, scale out, or take some profit. That's what I plan on doing. It coincides with that S&P target of what I'm expecting to happen there. All right, let's talk about some other things. You guys want me to check out some charts, some cryptos, or stocks? I'm gonna cover some of my favorites. Spotify, we crushed it. Home Depot, I signaled a very similar play on Home Depot yesterday. I think we were here, right? The 253 mark on Spotify, and I said, hey guys, we're gonna buy 320 calls. And sure enough, we bought 320 calls for like $60, and we were selling them for over 12, 13, 14 to 2,000 a call. This was a great play, right? We'd seen this setup. It's kind of a broadening wedge, a descending one. Looks like a big bull flag, so we bought that extension. So Home Depot is looking super similar, and the premium on HD loves to run. I only went 6 weeks out on this one. And hopefully it plays out. I had something else that Workhorse looks similar to, so I might get into Workhorse now after the shakeout. And I think Home Depot's gearing up to do something similar as these markets blow off, right? Now we're going to look at Apple next, because a lot of us trade Apple. So I bought 303 Home Depots. Apple's moving its way back to the 61.8. which is 125. We really want to see what happens here, right? I do have these calls, are 2 weeks out. If we get up here and we close above, then we can get a 131. If we get that 131 and keep pushing, then we can see an extension, kind of like what happened to Tesla. Let's throw Tesla on this side. Look at the hourly. Right, so Tesla had done something a little different, but it did have a lot of 61.8 friction. And a lot of these charts, guys, just like cryptos, they move along the same way, right? They trade very similarly. So looking at Apple, comparing it to Tesla, Tesla had a lot of friction with the 61.8, more than Apple did, but that's where you look over here at this red line. That's the 61.8. And let me go to maybe the 2 hours so you can see it better. There we go. I think Apple is headed back up there. That's just the most sensible thing for it to do. And if we can get it close above, then 131, maybe 148. And I'd take profit 148. Just like when I said Tesla's next high is going to be 600, it went up to 600. We should have bought this pullback of 540s, because if we do get a bubble continuation for that blow off, then we're looking for 629. and get a sip of coffee while I wait for your chart requests. Let's take a look at some cannabis stocks. tlry. You posted that tlry was doing a reversal. We got 7.5 calls, $7.50 calls for January. It looks like it's doing a bull flag. Congress has a vote this week about decriminalization. The UN posted something about making it less dangerous substance. Guys, marijuana is a joke. It shouldn't even be illegal. So, you know, if we do get legislation in favor, we're going to see this whole sector just completely blow off. And I do think cannabis is the next bubble, right? CGC, canopy growth, is moving back up. Our call on that one was 37.50s, I think. That there wasn't a 35 call, but it's April 2021. A lot of these are far out, right? We're setting us up for like these longer term swings where we get a lot of pumps and dumps. We get to sell and buy back between now and then. Another one, MJ, the ETF. I think the cannabis ETF, you know, is also great because we're not betting on one company, but we're betting on the entire industry. And we're closing above the 61.8. We're above that 15.2. So theoretically, we should be going up to the 20s, right? That's what's nice. And this kind of reminds me of Groupon, which we do have a position in. These charts look very similar. A Groupon, you know, rejected the second time, but now we're pushing back the third. So we do have to keep in mind that there are longer term cycles in play. Trying to look at some of my holdings. Any questions, guys? Not getting a whole lot of participation. Smash that like button while we're waiting on some chart recommendations, chart requests, whatever you want me to check out. Drop the ticker. I'll take a look at it. I only do these streams once a week, so if you want my input, you have a charting question, ask me now. Another crowd favorite is AMD. AMD is announcing new tech. They're kind of kicking everybody in the industry's butt. I do have March 2021 calls on AMD, and I do think we're gonna get above 100 and beyond, right? This it's been kind of hard to chart this pennant, but do you think 100 is within range? What I meant by that is not that they move with crypto, but when it comes to how markets work between like the 61.8 and the various fib extensions, they pretty much all do the same thing, right? That's what makes TA valid. That's what makes fibs valid. They might not be beating all to the same drum, right? Like they don't have all the same pace, but they all do the same thing. Where they extend and where they reject, and where you get pullbacks, it's very similar. SWBI, I gave up on SWBI. I think it's Smith & Wesson. Totally gave up on that. After they had the split, I don't even know what happened with my position. It does look good. We're still in that shortage of ammunition, but we haven't seen the market react appropriately, right? And if anyone tells you markets are rational, they don't know what they're talking about. They're really not. Just like when we saw that dip before the election, I'm like, guys, this is a shakeout. People are like, oh, it's gonna crash, and and then it went up. This kind of reminds me of the workhorse setup right now. Looks good. Maybe 1422. Maybe we get a retest of 1422 before moving on up higher. It's below the 61.8, but it's trying to close above. It's trying to get above 1658 before going back up. Thanks, Fire Marshal. All right, hopping on a BA. Man, Boeing, as soon as my positions expired, that's when I decided to run. But that's why I'm also playing airlines instead of just manufacturers too, right? So diversity. So I think 266 is within reach on Boeing. Let's kind of make these a little smaller. Now, one thing, guys, I hate trading quote unquote breakouts, right? What do we know about breakouts? 90% or something of breakouts actually fail, right? So I wouldn't take a breakout trade. I would wait for it to pull back, right? I would, just like whoever traded this bearish breakout and this bearish breakout or this breakout, I don't know if second time's going to be the charm. But I refuse to buy options after how many updates have we had, right? Like 2 weeks of updates. Premium's going to be so high. That's my personal opinion. But like looking at airlines, they're still depressed, right? American Airlines starting to move up, right? DAL, Delta moving on up, right? So play the laggers, don't go for the breakouts. Personally, that's what I would do. What else? Looks like PayPal is doing the turn again. I think PayPal is gonna blow off with their BTC move, right? I think we're gonna go back to 223. This looks like just a retest, a little bit of a shakeout. I'm not gonna call it an Adam and Eve because usually happen at the bottom, but it looks like a pretty bullish double bottom. Now we're gonna move on back up. It didn't really sell off to make a double bottom. Let's see what this previous extension gives us. I think 238, 237. Once we clear the 223 mark, we can see a blow off to there. A lot of these charts going back to the S&P, they look like they're gonna blow us off. That's why the QQQ looks bullish. Once again, I would be cautious at I would start being cautious at these levels. At 370 to 374, 376. When I look up and right, I'm just looking at other charts I'm watching. Alright guys, I'd hate to wrap it up, but I'm not getting a whole lot of participation. So I'll catch you guys in Discord. There is a link to join Discord. Just click that link. If the link doesn't work, it's because we disabled a lot of the links because we're getting a lot of spam joins in the Discord. But if the link's not working, drop us a comment. We'll get you a proper one. I'll be in Discord for the rest of the day. And then if you guys join Discord, remember on Monday, we do Money Monday, where all our channels, our options trading channels, are open to everyone. So you get to see what we're doing for the week, how we're positioning, and get to grab some pretty good calls. I got BA, I saw SWBI. I'm not sure what you're seeing about no. I have a few questions about indicators. I'm on the trial. I'll be staying up. Well, this isn't quite an indicator stream. I'm not gonna dive into those. Inverse head and shoulders, BTC lower time frames, 4 hour. Inverse head and shoulder tops are, I mean, my what I see on BTC is beyond what a 4 hour time frame is going to show you on BTC. What I see on BTC is an MDRP, is momentum discrepancy. And I think it's ready to come back down. Now I think it's ready to come back down. 4 hour. I don't see an inverse head and shoulders. I'd hate to call this a bear flag, but a lot is telling me that we're gonna come back down. I mean, yeah. I think this is a distribution, right? I called distribution back here, right, on the 19th. I said this is distribution, right around here, and I told our team to start looking for Wyckoff formations, right? And then Jay, let me just show you guys what we do in real time. We had a Wyckoff formation playing out, right? And that one played out. That was on a shorter time frame. So now I think we're seeing another like Wyckoff distribution scenario. I think it's gonna take months before we see a break of 20K, especially if the S&P, let's say the S&P blows off to like 371, and then it pulls back, and the QQQ pulls back. You know, we might see another one of these just brief sell-off for a few months consolidation before we get a continuation, right? It starts November 21st. What? Inverse head and shoulders, November 21st? Man, I hope you're not looking for something like this, because I don't know what you're in for. If you're talking about something like this, no, that wouldn't be inverse head and shoulders. That would be a wolf wave, right? That'd be a harmonic wolf wave, and it would be wrecked, right? That's something that our indicator scanner can pick up once it's getting close to completion. Once the formations get into completion, let's like maybe look at the hourly. Maybe there's a small one that I can highlight. Where do we see? We see those. Oh, let's see what the scanner has to say about like the S&P and stuff. Yeah, so there's all been like harmonics up to the 375 on the S&P, but that would be a wolf wave. That wouldn't be a. It would look something like this, right? That's a reversal formation and not inverse head and shoulders. Or it would be a 3 bearish drives, right? Which is another name for the wolf wave. It would look something like this, right? We're like, oh, it's a slanted head and shoulders. No, that would be room for more downside. It would be a false break. Bobby, IO. All right, Fam Bam, thank you for tuning in. Hop on a Discord. We'll catch you there. Runic, the indicators, they have dedicated, like I sent you a link to the videos. You know, there's a video that explains each one, and there's a few streams that go over just the indicators that answer any question that you might have, because they were live streams and people got to ask their questions too. So watch those. And then if you have questions, come back and ask the direct questions. All right, guys. I'll catch you. I'll catch everybody in Discord. Thank you for tuning into the stream. Trade safe, and see you in the